DWTT. You got Tony and Matt, and we'll see you in just a sec. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the trip once again. I'm DWTT, Gary, to my friends. I've got here with me Tony. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing all right. Kind of
And,
not looking forward to tomorrow being a year older, but
oof. Well, pre-happy birthday, just in case I forget. And Matt is also with us. Matt, the Southern Gooner, how you doing?
Doing good, but man, Tony didn't realize it just hit me, man. We are both fellow Virgos, man. My birthday is the 14th.
Oh, nice.
So that we have a lot of rationale, reality thinking on this panel.
Is that what it is? All right.
that's what it's called.
All right, so we'll get into it here. And I guess we'll get into it. So here we go. As you can see at the bottom there, Arsenal visited Old Trafford, 6th game of the season after five wins in a row. This was going to be a big test for us coming in. Arsenal needed to be really good. Needed to take whatever they learned in the last 5 games and improve on it. As we saw, I don't think we learned as much as we thought we did. 3-1. I guess we'll get into it. So, initial thoughts. For me, anyways, initial thoughts. Once again, I don't like to say this, but it's another City-like game. We probably had the best performances on the. If you look at the way we were playing football, and we let ourselves down in 2 areas of the pitch, which is the usual case for us, anyways. Our finishing and our defense let us down, and we lost points because of it. That's an initial thought right there. Tony?
And initial thoughts is we came out of the gates a little slow. United was on it more. We came into the game. Biggest thing for me is formation, the way we played. I'm not going to pick out individual players. My fault pretty much lies with the manager. We'll get to that when Gary brings out his 3 little points of the match. 3 little errors. Scary.
All right. And Matt, initial thoughts on the game.
Brother, we come out, man. We weather the storm. We get it together. Give up a cheap goal. Come back. Looking good for about 2 minutes, and then all hell breaks loose. Gentlemen, Arteta consistently, whenever it's time to play a good team, and this is we there's a track record of this, not Gary. There's a track record of this. Whenever we play a good team, we tend to falter. When we're playing Palace, we're playing the teams that we should beat, we are unstoppable. But the minute we run across a half decent, I mean, this is not even a good United team. And I've watched enough United teams over my lifetime to tell you this is probably one. We're still in the realm of some of the worst that I've seen. Anthony shows up. Nobody puts him on his ass to show, hey, look, man, welcome to the Premier League. He comes out, he has a great game. We have got to start winning, or we're getting ready to find, well, Gary, we're getting ready to go on the next 6 games outside of the Europa League are going to be show me what we are working with. And I'm telling you, I watched this game yesterday. Hey, what's up, Sam? Sam is in the chat. What's up, brother? What I looked at yesterday, man, we are short of players. We talked about this on my channel last week. We are short of players, Gary. And it showed up yesterday in the biggest way. And I woke up this morning thinking about it. Buddy, I am scared for the next few games because if we get some injuries, can you imagine if when these strikers go out, if we lose Martinelli or somebody, man? And I just heard before we went on the air, I heard Emil Smith-Rowe may be possibly injured. And he only played 15 minutes yesterday.
And he was injured going into that game. So.
And he was injured going into that game. And then Ramsdale still looked like he was injured yesterday. Gary, this United game highlighted a plethora of issues that I have with both Mikel Arteta and Edu, because we are now put in a situation to where it's going to literally take. Well, you know, Palace is good, Fulham pretty good, but this all in all seriousness, we should be beating them. We should be beating them. It's these Uniteds, these Liverpools, these cities, because you got to start taking points off of those teams. You got to take points off of those teams because we're just too up and down when we play everybody else. We're liable to drop points. So when you play these teams like this, you got to try to get what you can get. But when you play United, you got to try to take something off. But I knew it was going to be hard going to Old Trafford. Anybody who's watched Arsenal, I think if I'm not mistaken, at least since I've been watching Arsenal, and I've been watching Arsenal a long time. The only few times I can remember us being United was Adebayor, Aubameyang, and I think Van Persie. I think we beat him. Well, no, Van Persie scored. No, Van Persie scored. That was 8-2. He scored. But I can only remember, and when we won the title there, of course. But we don't go to Old Trafford and win too often. But we were in a situation yesterday, Gary, where even I think had Arteta, when we got 1-1, locked it down, sold it up, parked the bus, get out of there with a point, and let's just move on. Get something out of that game.
No, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's as bad, and we'll get into why. I'll just say hello to everybody in the chat.
Right,
Like you said, Sam was in the house. Sam, welcome to the show. It's just Tony guy's always in here, and as Sam said here, Palace and Fulham are good teams, and we played them and got wins. And did we play our best there? No, and that's the thing. We didn't actually play our best in those two games, and we still were able to come out with the wins.
Yeah, but there's still mid-table teams at best.
You know what? Think about this. We are the last team to drop points, and we still have to drop another set of points to even come, to get into the, to tie with anybody at this point. So if you look at it that way, it was going to happen. Were we going to go undefeated? No. So this was going to be a big game for us mentally. Did we stand up to the challenge? No, we didn't. Hopefully we learned from it, because I think we are still, and people keep saying it, we're still young. So if we're young, these types of games are going to continue to happen for a bit. All right. Our strengths let us down yesterday, but I think we are, we had opportunities, and we had to battle some things as well. And we knew going into this game we were going to have to battle VAR officials and the style of play that we know that United plays against us and what they get away with. We knew it. Everybody knows it. We knew McTominay can do whatever he wants and not get a foul called on him, much less a yellow after a number of fouls, right? We knew that going in. So it should not have been a surprise, and we should have had an answer for it. Somebody needed to stand up, and we didn't do that. So I hear what you're saying, Matt. It's a learning exercise for us. And if we're going to be okay with Saliba playing on the back line, and then we're going to say, okay, Saliba is going to make mistakes, and we're going to have to bite our tongue, thinking that, you know what, he should know better, and he should know better, but not right. He's not going to be perfect right now. That's where this squad is. We are not a finished product. We all say we're not ready to win the league. So with that, this is the kind of game we're going to get. So as much as I'll be upset about the little things in the game and stuff like that, but overall, it's just part of this. It's part of where we are as a squad. With this team, can we do things totally different? Yes, we could have got a different manager. We could have been better in the transfer window, all those things. But with this squad, the way it's set right now, this is not a surprise to us. It isn't. We're going to be upset about it for sure because of things we should have done better. But it's not a surprise to us. And I go into it. Let me just go through these chats real quick. Yeah, and that continuation is going to be great. It's going to be something we have to be concerned with. Brain farts on defense with a young center back pairing. They could have, a different type of pairing may have been able to, overcome some of the issues we were put under. That just didn't happen yesterday. Yeah, and this is the mental part of the mental part. Old Trafford is always a nightmare. That's a mental part of this whole thing. Because every time we go on the road, it's always the same thing. Really tough to play here at Crystal Palace. Really tough to play here at Fulham. Really tough to play there. And if that's the case, then they're all tough. So then we're gonna have to deal with these things. And we are, I believe, a top 4 team. So we're gonna have to be able to overcome. We're gonna have to overcome whatever challenges we get. And top 4, we have to do better. I mean, I think. If this is our first game against a top team, that's going to give us a challenge. If we continue to play like this, I think we'll be fine because we hopefully won't make the same mistakes. All right. Mark joins us. Mark, welcome. Yeah. I don't necessarily think we dropped our heads. I just think it is a setback, like for any team, because it wasn't as if United was able to take too much of an advantage at that point. We made mistakes that gave them opportunities, but they didn't actually take it to us. So
Gary, we capitulated. We capitulated the last 20 to 30 minutes of that, 30 to 20 minutes of this game. I hear what you're saying about mentality. This is year 3 that we've been seeing this same pattern over and over and over. We have got, I just pulled up the calendar here. We have got even the game, our Europa League games are tricky. Because on paper, people are like, we'll beat FC Zurich. We'll beat PSV. No, those are very tricky games. Everton next Sunday, is going to be a trap game because Everton are desperate. And once again, we're going to Goodison Park.
No, that's at home.
It's at home? Okay, good. Thank God. We've got at least that's we'll be at home.
Yep.
And then we got Zurich Thursday. You got Everton on Sunday. You got PSV Thursday, Brentford, Tottenham. I mean, the hits keep coming. Bang, 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 bang.
I hear you. October is a different beast. So let's stick with just September because October, that's just
there's
ugly.
a 2-week break.
October, yeah. So going into October, like Tony said, we got 2 weeks to mend ourselves mentally and physically, but we need to go through September. These next 4 games are critical. These are winnable games for us. We can win all of these games. We can, and we have to. I believe going into that international break. That's kind of where I see things. Joining us just now, I don't agree as much that it was. I do agree it set us back a little bit, but I think the game wasn't. We didn't lose the game at that point when they took away the goal from us. BX Gunner. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I try to let you know, BX Gunner, what's going on here. Yeah. Everton's at home. This one is going to be epic. One because Mark, Lolo, and myself will be at it. So that's gonna right there. That's more than enough. I need to. If I'm going to X, I'm hoping to see a win. It's a long way to go, but I know it's gonna be tough no matter what. So yeah. Gator boots, Matt, Sam. I don't know where you go, Sam. You got to stop that talk. All right, I don't know what these gator boots you're talking about. I don't know what he means by that.
Get her done, baby. Go get her done. We gotta get her done, boy. Gotta get these W's, man. We gotta beat Everton, boy.
Yeah, no, we definitely, like I said, these next 4 games are critical as well. But let's stay to the game, and then we'll talk about what's next. Kind of went through the overview of the game. As you guys said, the first goal, having it come back, you guys felt it definitely sucker punch, and we lost our way there. For me, losing our way would have meant that our attack was just terrible, and we didn't get much from it. I think we still had opportunities there. You like to think your defense will realize that we need to play better now because they just took a goal away from us. But I think he liked to get her done. Yeah, every once in a while, Matt shows that he's from the South. He's got it. Southern Guna, there you go. All right, so here we go. First half, not much activity except for the one big mistake. You look at that, and I've heard some people look at that first goal for United, and Gabriel steps up when I believe Arteta probably wanted him to step back to allow that ball to continue to go down that side. Once he stepped up, the formation, the back line basically collapsed towards the ball, and that left, which should have been Zinchenko, knowing he's got Anthony to the outside of him, that he can't step too far in and get sucked in there and leave Anthony out there by himself with lots of space. And I don't know what goalkeeper could stop that. I assume goalkeepers can stop that move, but it looked when you see the replay, it looked like he had so much space. We didn't have no defense on that back post at that point to even come in and put a clearance in or anything like that. So big breakdown. Matt, that first goal for United, thoughts?
Defensive. I told y'all 2 games prior to this, I said that we have issues where we take off defensively, mentally, man, and you end up giving up goals like that, man. You end up giving up those goals. This is why I keep saying these next few games are going to be critical, because we have tendencies to go. We have lapsed in the worst of ways. We have all lapsed, and when you're playing a team like United, you cannot, even though United is trash, you cannot treat them as if they don't have any talent. They have talent over there. These teams, they're in the Premier League, man. You have to play these teams like it's a cup final. As I told Gunnar yesterday, we should have been playing this team as if it was a cup final. Zinchenko was all over the place. What should have happened yesterday is Kieran Tierney should have started, Lukonga should have sat, and Zinchenko should have sat in the middle with Granit Xhaka. And that would have made things a little bit easier. But, we were dealt with that hand, and that's what we got. Plain and simple.
All right, Tony, tell me.
I'm gonna group all 3 of them together here because
let's try not to, because we can't separate them. They are not the same. They all have their own little unique.
This is the one I can't remember where everybody was positioned.
Well, this was the one where the back line had to stand up. You had I don't know if it's Christensen. You had 3. Yeah, it was 3 against 4, I believe, at this point. You have Anthony out to the right. You have the player that Gabriel steps to, and then there was another. I believe, offensive player off to the left a little bit that drew. It would have been on the right back, so it would have drew White in a little bit. And like you said, as soon as Mark Gabriel steps towards the ball and puts a tackle in and misses, everything just breaks down. And Zinchenko comes all the way across to the middle of the pitch, and Anthony's out there on the right-hand side all by himself. And then he slots it into the far post very nicely.
Yeah, I think that one's more of just trying to press too much. Gabriel tried to give a ball, and everybody else wasn't in position doing what they need to do. And like you said, ball ends up in the net. But I think they were kind of set up to fail the way they were being coached and lined up.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the back line was porous yesterday. Things that we wanted them to do, they failed. I'm looking at the play right now, so I can tell you what happened here. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see if I can remember here how this thing all goes here. Ball comes in. I think it's Gabriel for some reason decides to step in, and then it just all breaks down around. It breaks around just because of that one move. You have the center back has to come over. Everything just falls apart, and not sure why. He does that, but that's the killer. All right, well, so that's in the 35th minute that happens. Later on, let's see where we're at. Anything happen after that? After that goal, I think, as Matt said, not much happened. Definitely from us. Not much happens from them either, I don't believe, at that point. So we get into halftime. I'm going to come out second half. No subs. I think the second half was, once again, I expected us to come out a little bit infused, a little bit more energy at that point. I don't think we came up with enough. At some point, then they bring in Ronaldo. So the game's they're going in for the kill now, right? You're bringing in Ronaldo. He's not helping them defensively. And 2 minutes after they bring him in, that's when we score. You guys remember that one? So you've got Verdigor gets the ball into the middle to Jesus, who's able to put some pressure. I don't know if he tips it out or the defender trying to clear it tips it out, but that ball, comes out and is sitting there for Saka, and he puts it in before the defender can get down. Very nice score. Tony, our first goal.
As those team goals you've been seeing from us this year, 3, 4, 5 players involved will build up to a goal. Nice to see Saka finally get his shooting boots on. Hopefully it continues. I still think he needs a lot more rest. He just doesn't look sharp. I still think part of it's because he's having to do more defensive duties with White coming up the right side there. I think that puts him doing more, takes energy out of him. Yeah, he still ends up in scoring positions, doesn't score, but you're tired when you're running all the way up and down the pitch. So just more worrying about attack. But it's a nice goal, nice shot. See more of it.
Yep. And that Matt, how you think about that first goal from us?
Well, I mean, it was a solid Arsenal goal, man. I mean, that's the refreshing thing. We're putting goals in there consistently. It's just that we're missing sitters. So the sitters yesterday you just like, wow. That's our problem. We have to start taking our chances more. There was a couple of times there where Odegaard would actually shot. I don't know what this hesitation thing was about all day about yesterday. It seemed like at points we got to where we wanted to walk the ball in the back of the net. Old Arsene Wenger for all my old schoolers out there. Y'all remember how we used to do it? We used to have always the short pass, getting right in front of the goal, and we pass. There was one particular time, the one that just literally sent me over the moon was when Odegaard got into the box, and all he had to do was just take a shot, and instead he passes it. I mean, literally, all he had to do was take a shot. It was one-on-one, literally.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if they have in their head and they're thinking and not actually just playing football in their head. Well, my role is I am an attacking. I'm a creative mid, so I need to create.
Yeah.
Even when I'm sitting, like you said, in front of the goal with an opportunity, I have the best. Like Erdegaard, I believe should just be taking more shots because I believe he's got one of the best strokes that we got on the squad from distance. And definitely, she's pretty clinical with his passing. So he needs to just take it. He should take more. And I have a feeling if he does that, that opens up for everybody else because now they have to come in and maybe close him out. And maybe Saka gets the one-on-one with space and time.
Yeah.
And, here we go. Sam says it. And this is probably another thing coming into the game. There's been a lot of talk about Saka not being right. I think it's more mental than physical because I think he needs he needs time to step away from the field and then come back in with a little bit of fire because he's going to get. This is how different you think this is to what we saw with Pepe. We knew Pepe. You put him in for 90 minutes. Guess what? He's going to get an opportunity to score or put in a really nice pass if you give him 90 minutes, right? Similar thing. I don't think it's the same in terms of the player, but Saka has shown that if he's playing 90 minutes, he's going to give you something. It's what he's done. What he scored in this one, and then in the previous game, I think it was, he put in the cross to Martinelli for the score right after having a really not uninspiring game once again. All right, but we have nobody else, and that's on the squad. That's on the team. That's on the team. With Wenger I think. In Wenger, for me, Wenger would rather just pass the ball into the goal, just walk it in, like move the defense so much that you just walk the ball in. Because you put a foot through it, you can score more than that. But these nice crisp passes only work so much. And Tony's got a comment here with how we use fullbacks. We're better suited for a back three. But that's not how we play defensively, though. So we don't play defensively with a back three. So that's why, right? When we attack going forward, we do. We move. We'll go with three at the back. But defensively,
problem yesterday were a lot of times we had two at the back when we were in attack. And loads of space. That's what kills us with through balls.
Not for the goals. Not for the goals, though. The goals we had 3 and 4 players back there with just 1 or 2 United players. So let's get into it. The third goal scored in the game. I was, as Tony Pye doesn't know, but I was chatting back and forth with Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle on this one. So this is the first of the 2 collapses on defense. Sambi takes the ball and, according to Ray, Ronaldo pushes him out wide, which I don't think so. I think he just decided to go to the left and puts in a pass a little too strong, gets past one of the Arsenal players and hits and gets to the back line. They're able to turn that around, get the ball into the middle and up to Bruno. Zinchenko was there, but Zinchenko's a little slow to realize Bruno's there. Bruno gets the ball and then puts in a nice pass to Rashford, who I'm looking at a still right now. White is behind him off to the right a little bit, but he's behind him at this point. But Rashford's getting a running start at this point, and then we're in trouble. We're in trouble at this point. So, second goal, Matt. I don't know if you recall that sequence of play there. Some say with Sambi who screws up. I think, once again, White defensively is a liability at some points in the game, and it seems to be late in games because teams are able to always go down that side of the pitch where White is, and He's, that's not his first position, but that's what's been happening. And we saw it in Crystal Palace, and we've seen it here again. How do you think about that third goal, Rashford's first of the game?
Well, that goal was the one that just was like this. I literally just dropped my head. I was actually sitting at the table eating. And when I saw it, I just was shaking my head like, how does this happen? How does this happen? Now, fair play to Ben White. He actually almost got to it. But it's just, how do you have that kind of lapse and you just got back in the game? That's the deflating part of that whole, both of his goals. Well, how do you deflate? How do you allow that to happen when you've got everything back? It's just disheartening to see, man. That's what it was. It was just disheartening to see, man.
Yeah, and like I said, I it was a combination of things. I think if we had attacked that game as all as one, then you probably would have seen even more of our plays up further up. I mean, our back line is sitting right there on the midline at the time, which definitely puts us vulnerable. Makes us vulnerable there. And our center backs probably need to know who's around. They probably didn't realize Rashford was out there. I think everybody's to blame on that one defensively. Tony, that Rashford goal to make it 2-1.
To me, that's kind of Arteta should be shouting at him, calling off for press. Like you said, we're way high up there. I don't really blame Sambi for the pass there. I think we're just too far up the pitch. You see two guys in the middle, and after you get past them, there's loads of empty space. It's kind of what happened with both the last goals. Play into the space, it's a goal. At one point, you have to give up pressing. You have to kind of say, oh, game's tied. We're good at attack. Let's focus that on attack. We got a solid defense. Let's not be pressing, not going forward as much. Staying where you should be. Instead of doing this hybrid. And yesterday, it wasn't working. Saka didn't know to attack or stay in the middle. Zinchenko kept going up more than he has. White was up more than he had. So you're left with two guys in the middle, Sambi basically on the island. So there's loads of space for them to work in. You see Ronaldo come in, the game changes, starts finding the guys in the empty space, just simple through balls, and get goals.
I hear you. And just joining us right now, Steve Denham is joining us. Welcome to the show, Steve. And we'll continue on. I'm just kind of going through the highlights because those are some good points for us to bring up. After this isn't when things didn't go our way. This is the McTominay takedown. He basically grabs Jesus and basically brings him down. Nice wrestling move. Brings him down. I guess eventually I think he does get a yellow for this. After all of the other stuff that he's done, he finally gets a yellow for the takedown. And I don't know how this guy gets away with this so many times. Just don't like it. Then I think later on, and that's right after that, Jesus does get he gets to spin off of Varane and puts a shot in. Tries to go for the far corner. It's just a bit outside for him. That's probably an opportunity we're hoping he's able to curl that in at this point. Then comes problems, and I'm just going to kind of go through the sequence here so you guys can hear it as it goes through. Let's see. So at this point, I think, did we lose the ball? Let's see here. I'll let you guys know in a second here. It shows me here how this happens. But no, we're just playing really a high line at this point. Our back four is all over the place at this point. White is the deepest player. He's got Rashford behind him, so he can't see him standing at the midline. Ball goes outside, and let's see, pass is made to, I can't remember if that's Bruno or not, but Bruno's able to get that ball up there. Rashford, he's gone. He's, by the time White knows he's there, it's too late. Oh, it's Ericsson. Sorry, Ericsson is the one that's up there. White tries to get there, but he's late. He kept him on side. That's part of it. If he realizes where he tries to get back, but he doesn't get back far enough. You can see him jump back to get back, but he doesn't know. He knows he needs to get back, but he's a little late on it, and then he gets beat. Rashford is gone, and like I said, I kind of felt like at this point in the game, with 60 minutes left, we're 60 minutes into the game, I always think, you know what? This is, if Tomiyasu's healthy, you're up. It's a 1-1 match at this point. Put in Tomiyasu and let's we talk about closing things out. It'd be nice to just close it out with our defensive back line in there at this point, right? I think Tierney did start, right? So Tierney didn't start, but I think he was on the bench. You've got more of your defensive fullbacks on the bench at this point. I don't know. You got a 1-1 draw after what you've gone through. Would have been nice to maybe slow things down and have your defensive players in there. So, Matt, talk to me about that. If you want to talk to me about the McTominay takedown, you got the miss from, like I said, from Jesus, but then you also have that goal that pretty much seals the game for them.
I mean, it's not really much to talk about there. At that stage of the game, it was pretty much just trying to see what you can get. I mean, that was pure WrestleMania. That was Hulk Hogan see it Justice WrestleMania 8 takedown. So I mean, really not much there. I think he ended up getting the yellow card for it. So Jesus missed. It was, like I said, it was just a lot going on yesterday towards the end of that game, where it was just, by that time, it was just, you could clearly see it was out of control. It kind of spiraled out of control. And
what do you think of the 3 substitutions before that goal?
I think that was, I think what my thing that pissed me off, and I mentioned this yesterday on with Lee, is that those guys shouldn't have been brought in at that situation. They should have brought in right after we scored. And but that's down to who, Gary? That's down to the manager.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times he does not think ahead of the curve. I think he reacts. He's a reactionary manager. Yeah. And I told you that a lot of times it luck. So he was riding his luck to see, they'll bring it back, and we, at that stage, you don't bring on Fabio Vieira in a game like that, man, and he's chasing the game, man.
I don't know about you, but I actually liked what I saw from Fabio Vieira.
You don't
what I saw from him. What I saw from him in those 15 minutes is more than you probably have seen from Saka in that game. And as a whole, if you condense it into 15 minutes, you're probably not going to get what Fabio Vieira gave you in those 15 minutes.
What I'm saying,
he came in there.
He should have not been brought on in that, because you can kill a player's confidence like that. He should have been, as soon as that goal was scored, you 3 get out there, because if for one, you would have slowed it down. And you could have probably said, hey, this is what we need to do. This is the message. Da, da, da. And then that's that. But, went out there and you threw him out there into the fire. By that time, Casemiro was out there, and it was a whole different ball game. Yeah. So I just think that substitutions, I think he waited too late for substitutions. Those substitutions should have went on after the goal. Yeah. Or he should have incrementally brought them in the first 12 minutes of play.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, Steve, you couldn't stay around. I didn't think we were that depressive, but the game was depressing in itself. But hopefully you listen in to us later on. Tony, that last goal scored.
Didn't like it. Like you said, I think Tomiyasu should have came on. They brought Zinchenko off. Really didn't have a direct replacement for him. Kind of changed the formation around. But as soon as you score a goal, to me, it used to be bringing in Tomiyasu. Kind of shore things up a little bit. I think Eddie didn't do really anything those 20 minutes, 15 minutes he's on there. But again, I think it's the repression. Guys too high up the pitch. Again, just too easy for them. We should have set up shop. Still playing our offense, but shouldn't be giving them easy chances like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't feel the 3 subs and the consequent goal at that point had any relationship. Like they weren't like related. Like just because we bought in those 3 players, and then a minute later they scored on that kind of a play, which looks similar to some degrees, not necessarily similar, but it happened the same way, where we're playing the high line anyways, and we get caught out again this time pretty poorly, because at this point, when I looked at the replay, I was looking at the replay of that at the time. We've got Saliba and White basically just inside on our defensive side, just inside the half line, and then you've got Eriksson and Rashford basically on both sides of White at this point going, and White's keeping them both on side at this point. If he's standing on the line, they're offsides, and we're good. But he kind of keeps them on side, and that kind of gives them everything that they want. Like you can't do that in this game, right? You can't do this to any team. Kind of position yourself in this. If you're gonna play a high line, you cannot be the deepest guy. You got to be in line at this point, right? And that didn't happen.
Yeah,
so.
Craig AFC is spot on there.
Yeah, and you know what? We keep saying it. We are young. We're gonna make mistakes. This is a mistake because of the youth on the squad, and I know people don't like when I say this, because they always say, but he was a red card waiting to happen. But having Luis on that back line is the kind of seniority that I, for the good parts. You can look at the bad parts and say, you know what, he got us red cards. Some of those times he was put in that situation to get us the red cards, and some of that was on him, but it wasn't all his fault every time. He was trying to make a play, but it's more about the seniority that he brought to that back line and brought us. We need something like that, I believe, especially to close out a match like we had that at that point. 1-1, you're at Old Trafford. You haven't been getting much out of your game, right? You're not finishing. You're not close. You're not clinical. You put in 3 players to go and attack. That's really not the way to Arteta. Arteta never thinks offense first, right? He always thinks defense first, right? I mean, in the actions of the squad, we make sure our back line has been solid, and then we start moving forward with the movement of players that we have. So he didn't play it the way at least the way I think he's been playing it. And Craig, welcome to the show. I'm Class 1. Welcome to the show. Why Not is in the house and gives it to us like he always does. Yeah. And as you can see, Why Not doesn't care what Arteta does, or Edu, or Benai. They all got to go. So I think he's talking about all of them, and Stan, or Josh, all of them.
All of them.
All of them. So yeah, so that's the game that kind of seals at that point. I mean, we still had 15 minutes to go after that, and a team with any kind of one, I guess, maturity, but also a little bit more like playing for the badge kind of thing would probably think they could still get something out of this. I think we're still too young for that right now. But I think we still had opportunities to at least get 1 goal in before the end of the half. At that point, we just couldn't do it. Now coming into the match, I guess we'll get into this. I don't think it's corruption. I think it's just blatant incompetence in the way the officials actually work, the way that they're actually, their process that they have in place. And everybody saw this for the weekend. It wasn't just Arsenal that missed out on goals, having getting them called back after things, and it wasn't. And VAR took away 3 goals this weekend, and probably in all 3 of them, you're thinking that's not what VAR essentially was for, right? Especially was it the West Ham? Was it the West Ham match or?
I find it amazing that we've had VAR over here for a long time in the States, and we can actually get it right. I just think English refereeing is just absolutely atrocious. And once again, this is why you don't see these referees at Champions League games and World Cup. They are just incompetent over there, man. They are some of the most incompetent referees I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, in my entire life.
Yeah.
And this is, if you're a football fan, period, especially for my Brits over there, man, I've seen it was one down in the championship that they had a bad call that cost them the game. It's just absolutely criminal, man.
Yep. And the reason why I think it's even more criminal is because people's livelihoods and people's jobs are being lost because of it, right? I mean, your teams' positions in tables, players' positions on the pitch, teams, coaches' jobs are everybody has to be working to make sure everything's done correctly for them, because it's a lot of money involved in this, and they got to be closer to perfect than they are. They can do better than this. I know they can. They choose not to, and I think the teams have not pressed them to get better. I don't know what you guys think. Tony, officiating.
In our game, I'll just stick with our game because I didn't get to watch many of other games. But to me, they sit there, every goal is reviewed. You look at the buildup of that, and Odegaard, it's a foul. Might not like it, but it's a foul. It's part of the rules. You look at every goal. Foul helped open things up. And that's how he got in there to get the goal. So I think that one's right. But as a whole, everything's inconsistent. They don't implement the rules the same way. The refs want to protect other refs, like the way they do VAR. I don't know why they can't just have a VAR room somewhere, wherever they want to put it in England, like the NBA does. They're constantly monitoring every minute, every second of every game. They see something, they'll tell the referees. Here, you just see the referees going to the monitor straight away, communicating more. Should be like it is in rugby and Australian rules football, where the referees are telling you what they're looking at, so the fan knows what's going on instead of, it pops up on the screen. They are under review. Watching the games, a lot of times you don't see it till the commentators say something about it, so a lot of it goes missed. But I think the main thing here is just the total lack of consistency. The rules aren't implemented the same. VARs used haphazardly. Just the whole thing needs reviewed, needs fixed. Right now, as bad as VAR is, you might as well just scrap it with the errors, because they're never to get anything right to begin with. Here, it seems like it's a good old buddy system protecting other referees. They don't want to say, "Oh, you're wrong on the pitch. We're going to overrule you." No, the referee usually goes out there and says, "Oh, okay, I'll stick with this," or whatever happens. Just poor all the way around, inconsistent. Just kind of ruins the game. I think we're better off without VAR, unless they just go back and totally revamp it and relook at it.
For sure. Yeah, no, and yeah, it's not. And the thing is that it's made officials lazy, right? They're lazy. Now they will defer to VAR instead of making the call, and VAR is main reason for having VAR was what? To correct clear and obvious errors. And they're making it, as I always say, they're trying to make it perfect, and it can't be because you got human beings working in there, and you've got probably the wrong human beings working in there, and they don't have the integrity of the game. And they don't, that's not for, first and foremost what they're thinking about doing there, because it can't be, because you got the same people on the pitch working in the VAR. There's no way they're going to try to go in there and, like you said, Tony, back, go and override whatever call was just made or not made. And if you can look at the foul on Christensen and say, that was a foul, then two hands in the back from top McTominay early in the game, it's got to be a foul. It wasn't even considered a foul. He pushes a guy. I mean, if he was, I don't know if he was going out of bounds at the point, because that's where his momentum was taking him. Didn't we see Martinelli get a yellow for kind of, putting a foul on somebody or making contact with a player outside the pitch, right?
Yep.
So it could be considered a yellow because it's dangerous play, pushing a player off the pitch, because the way these pitches are slanted, you're basically asking for trouble there. So if you're trying to keep players safe, then you shouldn't be allowed to do that. I don't know. I kind of felt like that foul from Lisandro on Jesus early in the game, right? First minute of the game. If he doesn't put his leg out there, Jesus is on goal, right? And isn't that worthy of a yellow? Yeah, I don't care if it's early in the game. It shouldn't matter. If he doesn't put that foul, he doesn't put that foul on there, he's on goal. It's just him and the goalkeeper at that point. So, consistency, and it looks like they're a favorite sometimes, but the consistency needs to be there. Can't be one for one and not for others. There were some. Did I go through the start? Oh, yeah, here's one. Do you think it's possible Arteta will get the vote of confidence? I think from Arsenal, yes. I don't think they see what happened yesterday as a big concern. I don't think one game out of 6. If we're going to say this game was poor, yes, but I don't think 1 out of 6 are going to say, "Oh, we lost confidence in him." This is a big test, and we're going to have multiple. Like by the end of October, we'll know. We'll know where we stand at the end of October, right? But right now,
Before the World Cup, they might take a look at it, but
yeah,
until then, he's
Why
safe.
not? Why not has no confidence? What about Matt? Does Matt have confidence in Arteta? Is he ready to take away the vote of confidence? I think he just answered that. I think he just answered it.
You know it. There you go. You know it right there. No, I don't think nobody's going to. Arteta's not going anywhere unless we're going for maybe 7-8 game losing streak.
Yeah.
So I'm not, and even then, I don't know if they'll even get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the only way I see us losing 7 or 9, or essentially dropping points in 7 of 9 games. I don't think we'll lose 7 or 9, but I can see us dropping points in 7 or 9.
Let's put like
it's injuries though.
1st to 10th, then I think you start hearing stuff.
Yeah. No, we have to be competing for top 4, and once that looks like it's going to be a big challenge, he should be concerned, and the fans will let him know, of course. there'll be enough of that. What's this other one here? I remember a rumor that Stan told Arteta to stop, I guess, paying get out clauses for players. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Pay get out clauses for players. So this is the probably people talking about the Saka deal. And Tony, you always bring this up that he's waiting to hear what get out clause he can have in his contract. And I don't think Arsenal can do that. Because I don't see them putting the right number in there. Tony.
No, I don't. It's have to be super high for Saka. I'd set it at 120 million, but you set it at that. The players would be nobody's that come for me for that price. So it's a be lower. We're probably stupid enough to set it at like 60 million.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Which
I mean
is too low.
Yeah, I don't see us doing that correctly. Like you said, it's got to be a number that doesn't make any sense. That somebody would want to spend that. I mean, like Saliba, I think you put 100 in there, and I think people might pay that, especially if they're one center back away from where they want to be.
Yeah,
Saka though, for me, Saka is worth a lot to Arsenal, but I don't think he's worth as much to other squads right now. Because you look at Martinelli, and you go, "That's what I want, right? For my wings, I want somebody who can do that." And Saka hasn't shown he will do that consistently. Put pressure on the back line, give Trent nightmares, which I think anybody can do that. But Trent had nightmares, and I think he did that too with Fofana as well, right? So. I think Martinelli is worth a lot more to other teams than Saka is to some degree. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't know. I think Saka's still a better player. I just think he has more going on, more to do in the games than Martinelli does.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Jesus being Brazilian helps, both speaking the same language.
And before you finish that thought, we've got a late arrival here. I think he wanted to see Matt before Matt decides Matt said he's got another hour with us anyway, so there you go. But our man, we got our quartet here back in business. Show it back in the light again.
Corporate Tom.
Corporate Tom.
Tom showed up. Oh,
Tom just came in to see what crisp I have. That's all. Right, Tom?
That's not entirely untrue, to be fair, Sir Tony.
We've seen you in the light for a second. Is this
Hello,
the second
everyone.
day in a row we're seeing you in the light? This time it's not natural light. It's
No, it feels wrong. It's not right, but happy Labour Day, everyone, whatever that means.
Yeah. Work.
It means
unions.
the end of summer here. It doesn't mean anything about labor like it's supposed to be.
It's not a holiday. Gary got us out here slaving.
Hey, you guys, you guys wanted to get something off your chest. I know it. So, Mr. Tom, it wasn't a good weekend for you. Not a good
Why
weekend
did
for
Leeds
you at all.
play?
I think they did. Yeah. I think
Oh,
they did.
I only check the scores when they win.
Yeah. It wasn't a good weekend for Leeds. So Mr. Tom has been working hard, trying to get that out of his mind.
Well, working. I wouldn't say I'm working hard, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now we were talking about the Arsenal match and kind of, I guess, multiple places where we went wrong, and some of it was our own doing, and some of it was our players' own doing. Some of it was Arteta's own doing. And, of course, we had to battle the officials as well.
I'm sure you discussed it, but the goal that never was, it was a foul. Ultimately, it was a foul. My issue with it was, why did it need to be watched 15 times to determine that? I mean, the first time I saw the first replay, the first thought in my head was, but that's not going to be a goal. but then he watched it for another 4 minutes. I was like, what's there to determine? Get on with the game.
Yep. And you know what? It should have been called on the pitch anyways, because it wasn't as if the referee on the pitch was not looking at it. And it wasn't as if Eriksson did not come up like, what are you doing? You just knocked me down. So if a call had to be made, it should have been made. Like that, the fact that it has to go to VAR to correct it should be a negative for the official on the pitch.
But then, by the same token, I could be wrong here, this is just a tough opinion. If you have to watch it 15 times to determine if it's a foul, go with your original decision of it's not a foul.
Well, yeah, if you can put two hands in the back of a player and push him out of bounds and you don't call that a foul, then what Eriksson went through wasn't even close to a foul.
I don't know.
So that's where the consistency comes in. It's got to be called consistent, and we know it isn't. If you're consistently bad, I'll take it because then you know how to play. You know, if I do this, I won't get a call. It won't get called, right? The fact that VAR can go in there and correct mistakes like this is poor. I think it's poor on the official. So this should look bad to the officials, but everybody's going to say it was done correctly, right? He's standing right there.
I'd have said it's correct. Had he watched it twice, maybe, and then gone, yeah, it was a foul, then that's VAR being used at its most efficient, let's just say. But watching it for 4 minutes. Yeah.
He was placing an order for dinner anyways, and they couldn't figure out what kind of salad dressing he was talking about. There was a confusion on whether it was Thousand Island, Italian, or ranch, and that's why it took so long. They weren't really talking about the match. That's the only thing that makes any sense to me. Like you said, you see it one time, it's a foul, move on. But I mean, it took time for him to even get to the screen, which meant somebody in VAR land was still looking at it going, I don't know, is this a foul? Like the game stopped at that point, and you knew you were in trouble at that point if you're an Arsenal fan. So yeah, no consistency, and they're finding new ways to just screw up VAR. That's all, right? I mean, you can pull somebody's head and it not be called by VAR. And I don't care what was going on before that, because that's what everybody's excuse was when the hair pull happened. Is because there was a lot of stuff going on before that. But once you get to the point where you pull somebody's head here, it's a card in the box. It's a foul in the box.
I don't think there was a game this weekend where VAR wasn't a big part of the outcome.
Well, you think in Leeds game, did you see that?
From my understanding, it was quite egregious in the game, but I know West Ham, for example, was absolutely criminal.
Yep.
I don't know. But then there are going to be weeks where my team benefits from a VAR decision, and I'll be sitting here going, oh, well,
I like to say that. I don't always feel. I mean, you guys can tell me, how often do you feel as an Arsenal fan, well, VAR got us there? And how many times do you go, damn, we got, all right, VAR took something away from us again? Because, once again, if you can take that call and say Eriksson was fouled, then you've got Ramsdale getting tackled in the box and a free kick going in.
Hold on. We got off the hook yesterday with VAR because Sammy Lukonga's foot was mighty high yesterday. And I was mighty afraid that was going to be a red card.
What happened to Saka in the box?
So I'm talking about Sammy Lukonga.
And what about when Saka got taken out in the box? You didn't remember that one?
Yeah, but that was after he had the shot.
Yeah, but that Lukonga,
it's a foul. It's a foul. Doesn't matter. That's a foul. You've seen how many times you've seen that call as a foul?
That Lukonga
You've seen that multiple times. The guy comes in late after you cleared it. It's a foul. You see it all the time. You can't say, "Oh, well, you know what? The shot was missed, so it doesn't count now." And that's
where the shot off. He should have scored.
but you can't just foul them afterwards.
It's
a
inconsistent,
foul.
Gary.
It's a foul, isn't it?
Whenever they
I don't care if the shot was taken. You can't just come and lay on a player and then say, all right, it's not a foul because he took the shot. It's a foul. First and foremost, it's a foul. Not a foul on the shot, a foul. Are you telling me it's not a foul? He came in late with a slide tackle.
You're about the one in the second half.
Huh?
You talk about when it in one in the second half?
I believe it's in the second half, yeah.
Yeah. No, that wasn't a foul.
That wasn't a foul. Okay. I've seen it called so many times.
Oh,
Guy
I'm not
comes in
saying
late,
I've
takes out
not
a
seen
player,
it called,
and
but I'm saying if it was called, we'd have all been sitting here going, that shouldn't have been a foul.
I heard many say that could have been a foul, so maybe not.
I mean, ultimately, it don't matter because it wasn't. But
once again, you put McTominay on the pitch. I don't care what we've done; it's nowhere close to what he did. Maguire comes in, goes in and brings down Jesus. Gets the yellow late. I mean, it's too late at that point. But I like I said, I don't think it's even the Arsenal, severity of their fouls compared to what United did yesterday.
What you're forgetting, Gary, is when it comes to Old Trafford, you need to be perfect in every phase of play. Like, for example, you scored a goal and then it got chalked off for something that happened 40 seconds before. You need to be perfect in terms of the rules for about 2 minutes of play to get anything there. And that was before VAR existed as well.
Yeah. Tom is one. I agree with Tom 100% on this.
I hear you. But did Arteta tell his players that?
Tom.
You what?
I stand with Tom.
I'm not saying. I just tell you what I see. I might be wrong with what I see, but I just tell you what I see. Hey, Mr. Thomas is saying hi to us before he joined us here. What is this from Ian? Iconic class.
Better be glad how well I'm reffing.
Well, it wasn't as if we didn't have the worst two refs possible in the game anyways. They both just walked home after the match.
How
but they support teams.
Say what? What are you going to say, Tom?
No, they don't support Man United, apparently. If anything, they'd be more likely to go for you because they support the local sides.
And you believe that was going to happen?
No, of course I don't.
Because
Man United.
So why would you bring up something that you don't even believe in to make a point that we know everybody knows it's not going to happen?
That shows how fair I am. Yeah.
Oh man! So what does it say here, Ray? VAR is just
but I'm gonna go as a Leeds fan. I will go against Man United, even if I literally saw the crime against them with my own eyes. I'd be like,
Yeah. I hear you. What does it say here? VAR is just showing up the standard of the referees in a match, meaning VAR is used to help the referees ever since refs have come into the game. There have been an issue. Remember linesmen? Yeah.
It's called video assistant referee. It's more of a hindrance than it is.
Yeah. It's raining in Charlotte for Big Gunner, so he's in the house. What? If he loses 10 matches, he definitely doesn't have a job because that means he's definitely going to be struggling to get top 4 today in this climate right now. Guys talking about smoky stuff. Is anybody watching? What is it called? House of Dragons and Ring of Power? I don't know what that is.
It's the Lord of the Rings series
okay.
on Amazon.
Yeah, and Sam just noticed that the dungeon master is in the light. He's in the light. I haven't seen Ring of Powers. What is that on? Is that on something I can see?
Amazon.
Amazon, I believe.
Okay, all right. Well, here, and this is the thing, right? Tommy got a face. We saw Mustafi take a cleat to the face. No calls made. No calls made.
Everyone remembers calls that go against them, and
They took a cleat
everyone
to the face.
conveniently forgets when it goes their way.
I don't forget them. I choose not to discuss them, of course, because why would I? It makes no sense for me to discuss when you got away with the crime. All right. I don't think Arsenal gets away with that many crimes, and I don't think, like Matt, you said, Zombie's leg was pretty high. In the grand scheme of things, was that actually bad in this match?
Yeah, I mean that was borderline a red. I'm telling you now, that was borderline a red card.
Mm.
The only reason why I don't think he got called was it was so early in the game. I think because that was like in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Mm.
That happened in about the 25th minute, 30th minute. Yeah, he's probably walking out of there. Yeah, the foot up, cleats, studs showing across the leg. That could have been very ugly. That could have been very ugly here, and that was a horrible foul.
And McTominay's was horrible too, right? On Jesus when he tackled him.
Yeah, but see, he got a yellow card for it.
Yeah, but that's after the fifth yellow card he potentially got.
Yellow card. I tell you, I didn't even pay no attention. I didn't realize he.
As we've figured out, refereeing is inconsistent.
Yeah, it looks like Tony wants to.
So
I want to break into these.
Tony wants to break into these chips, and
How have you not broke into them?
because he's been waiting for you.
Tony,
for Gary.
you're fully authorized. Please do it.
These are Lay's wavy Funyuns onion flavored.
Wait, wavy onion? What's that?
Yes, exactly.
They make Funyuns. Funyuns is like a little onion ring shaped crisp that tastes like onions.
Please open the bag, sir.
You got to mail him a bag, man.
Yeah, they definitely get away with things. No games today. I don't think we're gonna have Monday games yet, right?
No, because we got tomorrow.
Next Monday is Leeds versus Nottingham Forest.
Oh, so there you go. First, another one's coming up. So, Nottingham Forest. Is it who's home?
It's at Leeds. We have
all right.
to win.
Yes. Well, you're gonna. Yes. It is. Yes. Yes. Russ has joined us. Russ, welcome to the show. I think we're all doing well, even though the Arsenal did not do that. Let's see.
But yeah, let's go in this transfer window, man.
All right. So it's DWTT to obtain a red card, you have to be committed to something. I thought it was just dangerous play to some degree, which doesn't mean you know. And yeah, I hear you. Iron class. Can we talk about what is this? Oh yeah, we already talked about that, Russ. If you just missed it, we probably spent the last 5-10 minutes talking about that. But as Matt said, and as the show started, if you look at the title of the show, basically Arsenal did all its business early, and many thought we still had time to do more business. And Arsenal, I believe, at some point realized they didn't need to do any more business, and then Partey and El Neni changed that discussion. I'm not sure where I'm not sure where Sam's going with his thought there. I don't know what that means.
I
don't know.
Talking about me.
Yeah, is that what he's talking about? I don't know what Sam was talking about here. I missed this part of the. So
I think Sam's talking about people being critical of Arteta and the team after the loss.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's talk about, Matt. You wanted to start this thing.
Yeah,
on the transfers.
I think this transfer window has left Arsenal naked. I think we're going to pay the price for it, and I think it will be our undoing this season. This is the exact same thing that happened to us in January, and we're right back where we are again. We did it again. Did not go out and emphasize the problem areas in this team, which is the midfield. We've got players, they're dropping like flies. We've got European ties on deck. We've got injury. I mean, we start getting injuries, man. I mean, we are up the creek. without a paddle, and we are treading on dangerous waters. We are in really, really bad shape, considering how I don't understand the logic, and I don't understand why we wait until the last possible moment to start looking for transfers. Tielemans was there the entire time. You could actually see the dejection in him playing this weekend, that he did not get that move. You could actually see it. And here we are, naked again. Told you Lakonga should have been went out on loan at a team like Brentford, Bournemouth, somewhere where he would have got some plays where he'd have been allotted those mistakes, get that stuff out of his system, because he's clearly not ready to for prime time,
So Matt, the word of the day is what for how our transfer business has gone?
I would say I'm not
Gonna say it again. Come on, say it. The N word.
naked.
There you go. That's Arsenal's transfer business in a nutshell.
Yeah, we're naked, man. I mean, it is absolutely. This team is naked, and we are, and it's crazy, man. Because see, Garrett, this is stuff. We had this discussion in January. Oh, we didn't get this. Get over a lot. Man, when we got all this stuff coming down the fire, it is absolutely paramount that you sew up what you need to sew up. Garrett, we didn't even bring this up the other day on my channel. People forget World Cup is right around the corner. So what happens if we want to go after the target that's in the World Cup? You know what's going to happen? Inflated prices. The prices are going to be inflated by 20%, especially if whoever we're going after is in the World Cup and they do well. I mean, we just completely botched this thing, man. Yeah, Zinchenko and Jesus were good. Yeah, the jury's still out on the other fella there. I can't think of his name, the Brazilian. What's the fella?
Vieira talking about.
No, he's Portuguese.
Marquinhos. All right.
Yeah, Marquinhos. Yeah, the jury's still out on him. So I mean, and Vieira, and those are two really for the future, man. So addressing Jesus and Zinchenko, that's cool, but we did not get the midfielders that we needed, a spare center back, and a hold-up striker. And we are going to rue the day that we did not do that.
I hear that. And let's just say before we continue on, Colonel Ward has joined us. Welcome to the show. Everybody's figuring out that the real Sam Greenwood is not the football player, but the real Sam Greenwood is here. Obviously, he's here because, this was his next comment. The slave labor cup will be boring. And, and he has to get in some really, really bad words. Yes, it is the real him. So, Mr. Tom, I'll just go to you. You guys, I feel like you shouldn't even be part of this discussion, because I think Leeds, as far as I'm concerned, had some targets, got many a target, and I don't believe with the number of targets you got that it slowed down the performances that you have on the pitch because of it.
I think the fairest way to put it is we had a good, not great transfer window, but our deadline day was terrible / embarrassing. Because ultimately we wanted to get a player. He tried to go somewhere else and he failed medical. Funny, yes, but we then had to buy an Italy 18-year-old from Italy with like 4 minutes of the deadline left, sort of thing, to save face. Allegedly, it was like a target that we were going to go for in January anyway, but ultimately we needed a striker that was ready to go, sort of thing. And
you know what you just said there? That's the problem. That you see exactly what you just said is why people have problems with Arsenal. You guys pivoted on the last day, which meant you had a list of players that you could potentially get, and you just went and got one earlier than you needed to because of the circumstances at that time. Arsenal, much bigger club, lots more money, probably should have a long list of our targets that they can pick up in a pinch at the end of a window if things start to go south for them. And they couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it, and they couldn't do it. And I'm not even talking about just going to get a CDM. There were wingers they were looking at. There were what else? There are other midfielders that they could have brought in. So there were at least three positions they were looking at bringing in potentially, and they didn't go for any of them in the whole month of August. So, and that's kind of what I see. So you just showed me what a club your size can do, and Arsenal, much bigger club, can't.
You're not that much bigger.
I believe we're buying like big. You know, I think we're bigger. I'm sorry. I just think we're bigger. Maybe I'm wrong, Matt. Tony.
No, you're not wrong. But it's
Well, you look like
it's not like Man
Forest.
United, but Dagenham.
You look like a team like Forest. They went out and got tons of players too.
Yeah. No, I just, like I said, I kind of felt like what you just described there is what Arsenal fans the Arsenal fans that are complaining about how the window went can look at that and go, well, how can they do it and we can't? And even like you said, you had targets in January that probably weren't at the top of your list, but it just meant you didn't have to deal with that in January, right? So we didn't do business in January, and we said we are planning for our summer window now. We have a plan. We came in, we got a lot of the business done, still had holes, and we never filled those holes either. Then had 2 injuries and still did not fill the hole. The one that was critical to the squad going forward.
I will say, to be fair, we did fill our biggest holes overall over the course of the window. Like, we obviously needed to replace Calvin Phillips, and to be fair, I feel we did do that.
Yep.
Maybe not like for like in terms of quality. Not worried that he's not there as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, it could have gone a lot better, but yeah.
If Tom's earning money from me, he must be stealing it because I haven't been handing out any money. Matt still got the same setup. Tony, we just finally figured out his audio. So there you go.
I'm not in 1970s Kung Fu movie anymore.
Tom, you're stealing money from me. Please give it back. I need it.
I'll send it via carrier pigeon.
Tom's really upgraded the basement there.
I am going to have to go, though, gentlemen. I thought I'd just peek my head in for the show, of course. Because I
appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us.
Technically on the clock. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, no. From a remote location. All right, thanks for coming on, Mr. Tom. Everybody, say good night.
No problem.
Goodbye.
Those are very tasty.
Thank you.
Very tasty.
I expect
good.
a full report on my desk by 9 a.m. tomorrow, Tony.
There you go.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Yep, thank you.
No
all right.
Thank you.
And there, Mr. Tom is saying bye-bye to us. So that was anything else on the transfer? Matt, I
just think it was just absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
I have 2 I words for it: incomplete and inept.
Yep.
First, we had many holes we needed to fill. Then you have the news that Elneny's out for at least a couple of months. We already needed midfielders. Didn't go in there and get one. Like Matt said, Tillmans was out there pretty much screaming, yelling, waiting for us to come get him. We never did. I don't know why. We needed at least 2 midfielders. Didn't do that. Been nice to have some more fullback cover, especially on the right side. And the biggest thing is having another striker, a second striker, because Eddie's not good enough. We need somebody that can complete with Jesus. Besides the poor managing bad tactics yesterday, what it cost us was the guys not finishing. 3 out of 16. 3 on goal out of 16 shots. It's just embarrassing. The game before, we're almost as bad. I think we had maybe 6 to 9 shots out of 6 to 9 on target out of 22 shots. That's still not very good. Yeah, I like us taking more shots. We need to be clinical. Been nice if we went out there. Even if we got a clinical winger, it would have been nice. We definitely need somebody that can complete with Jesus because we've seen it in 6 games, even though it's been 30 minutes here, 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here. And he's just not good enough. He's been in positions. He's had clear shots at goal. And guess what? It's been wide of a goal.
No, for
Overall,
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
overall, disappointed in Arteta and the do. Could have definitely did more the last month of a window. Yeah, we went out early, or fairly early, about 2 weeks after a window, and did all our business in about 2 weeks. Vera, to me, is a luxury signing. With having Smith Rowe, having Odegaard, we really didn't need another attacking midfielder, I don't think. At least not a priority. Late in the window, last day, yeah, that could have been a good signing. Marquinhos, I think he will be a good player like Martinelli. I think we did good for the money. We already seen he's too good for under 21s and under 23s. We didn't want to loan him out, so hopefully here this Thursday, we get to see what Marquinhos is made of. There's a chance he makes the starting lineup, but knowing Arteta, he won't rotate as much as he should. Won't give Saka a rest he needs, but we should see Marquinhos and see if that's a good signing. But overall, I'll say it again, incomplete and in note.
Yeah, and going into the window, there were multiple things on our list, right? 2 strikers. For some, a 1 and a 2, right?
Yep.
Others, striker. We needed a number 2 behind Partey. We needed a number 2 behind Tierney. Some say we needed a number 2 behind Tomiyasu. Some even said we needed a center back. White holding just wasn't enough for us. And then, like you said, we could do with some more midfielders. I think Vieira can play out wide, if I recall.
Yeah, he can play anywhere,
So
across the middle or up front.
I don't know if he can play on the right side, but because I think he was playing on the left side to close out the game. So I don't know if he can play on the right side. But yeah, lots of holes. We did fill some. I think Jesus and Zinchenko are good. I just don't think Zinchenko should be a fullback for us, and that's
No,
the
he should
problem.
be
Is
in-
that the
He
fact
should be
is,
in the midfield.
yeah. And you said something right there at the end that I was going to comment on. I wrote it. I was going to write it down. I said, "Oh no, I'll remember," and I didn't do that. I think
Gary.
yeah, no, I was going to write it down, and it just slipped my mind. I think Vieira, based on what I saw, I like that. Iconoclast here. They were never going to do more. Oh, the timing of the we need to sell before we buy with the backup financial investigation added up to better safe than sorry. Here's the thing about all of that: we didn't sell anybody. When all that came up, when's the last? We didn't sell anybody. We took a loss on the Leno sale. I mean, it's $3 million. That was
And all the rest of them are loans.
$3 million is all we got for him. He's a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League. We're guaranteed to get 3. We might get 8, I think. But
Still, for that price, I would have held on to him.
He's a starting goalkeeper, and we got 3 guaranteed. Bad business. You should have held out, got your 10 up. He's a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League. Everybody said, no, but he hasn't played. He's a starting goalkeeper in the Premier League. That's how that discussion should have gone. So I think Arsenal did bad there. The team should have been built around. I think this is where Sam's analysis of Russ is coming. It's clear as day. Clear as here we go. Russ is probably needs a visit. He needs some time with the man and the man or woman, and he should be laying down in a couch talking about ink blots and stuff like that. Man's lost it. Pepe is as good as my old toaster. And see, that's the thing. We weren't keeping Pepe. Anybody thought we're keeping Pepe at the start of this window?
Nope.
Nobody. So you needed to bring in a replacement for him, regardless. And it should have been like, well, as soon as Pepe's out, we get somebody else. We had time to do that. If you want to get a winger.
That's
So
the biggest problem. We haven't been replacing any of these guys. Who
Yeah.
do we replace Guendouzi
Yeah.
with? Leno.
Yeah.
Just goes all the way up and down the list. We haven't been replacing these players.
And that right there is another scary prophecy, right? If Ramsdale goes down, Tony's brother goes into the box.
Yeah.
And Tony's probably got better he's got better movement than Turner.
I could hold one of my prosthetic legs and
There you go. So I think that's the scary part. So we are at the 90-minute mark here. So we are probably going to head out of here unless you guys have something else you want to say before we go. And once again, Vieira was a luxury signing, but I kind of feel like if he was healthy, I would have liked to have seen more of him, and then we wouldn't say that. Because I kind of felt like if you what he brings in, I think he comes in like I told you guys, he took 2 shots in 15 minutes. Regardless of whether it's at the end of the game, we don't see that from Nketiah, and that's his job when he comes in with minutes left on the clock is to put shots in. We barely see that from him. He got 2 off, all right, 2 shots that I don't think we don't even take now. So I sound like a broken record, but
signing because we had so many needs that we didn't fill.
Yeah.
First.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. See, this is the problem. It's not even that Leno wanted more minutes. It's that the quality of player is worthy of as somebody who gets paid as a starter. Yeah. This is another thing. Incompetence. Here we go. I'm not barbecuing, but I am going over to friends for something. I don't know what this means here. I don't know. I think that's Sam going in the wrong direction. So,
yeah, Sam. I would more like a cheesecake. I like cheesecake. I'll probably buy one tomorrow.
So Tony, say your last words as we head out of here.
Hopefully we see a good performance Thursday. Hopefully we don't see too many starters because Europa is going to be big for us because we're too thin. We might not be able to sustain top 4. We should have. We reinforced the teams, but we didn't. We go injury free. We could do top 4, but that's not likely. We need a backup for Jesus. We don't have that. So I just hope we keep injury free and have a good first leg of Europa.
Yeah, no, and once again, Arsenal's doing it again, right? They go into the craps table, rolling the dice with players' health and availability.
Yep.
And we don't always hit them when we roll them, so consistently. So, Matt, last words before we get out of here.
Need to win this game on Thursday. Game on Sunday. Need to redeem yourself. And we just going to have to ride this thing out, man. It's going to be a long season. At least a long first half anyway. So that's it.
Yeah. The evaluation will come, what is it, mid-November. We'll see where we are in the Cups. We'll see where we are in Europa League. And definitely we'll see where we are in the table.
Yep.
And success has to be, I think, worst case, top 5 in the table. Still live in the Cups. And we should hopefully have won our group. That's the bare minimum right there, I think. The bare minimum for where we should be at that point in the season. So we will see where we are. Colonel is tracking my plane when I'm coming. Yeah, I'll be there. As as Sam says, and as Matt has alluded to, get her done and don't leave your team naked. Say it. I don't think I said it right.
So you can't be naked, man.
There you go. What he said. Russ, we will see everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us once again. We'll do this again next Monday, our regular scheduled time. It is holiday over here, so we'll do that then. Hopefully, by that time, we would have played 2 matches, Zurich and Everton. I expect 2 wins, nothing less. At that point, at this point, I don't care the score. I would like us to have good performances, though. So hopefully that means good scores. But we'll see you then. And as I like to say to everyone, life is a journey. Don't waste the trip. Enjoy the ride. And we'll see you guys